Reverse collage usually refers to the art of taking layers or parts of a collage away after with paint. In this video, we are looking at how to prepare a book for reverse collage and how to introduce the collage process. Essentially, this is a way of altering a book for the sake of making art. If that is something that appeals to you or intrigues you, then stick around. I begin with a hardcover book purchased from Dollar Tree, and I picked it because the images in it are very colorful and there are a lot of full page images. Not too many pages that are just writing or that are bland. What I had done is I had pulled out every page that was white, and of course that meant the adjoining page, because it's a one sheet of paper folded in half, stitched down the center, that would fall out, so I removed all of that. I then figured out that I could simply cut a page about 1 inch from the spine and glue the remaining 1 inch from the other page back onto the back of the following page. I'm not making much sense, I know, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to show you there, right there. I don't know if you can see it, but that is a page that I took out. It was a boring page that I pulled out, and I'm going to glue a more interesting page back on top of it, but I wanted to show you that there again, that's a page I glued. The page that came from somewhere else in the book, I glued over a boring white page. Here again, I'm showing you how I just cut out a boring page that was probably just print on both sides. Oh, there, yeah, those are the pages I took out. There was one of them. I tore it off, leaving 1 inch, glued that 1 inch down back over to the previous page, so that other side of that paper probably has a very colorful image, and I wanted to save it, so that's what I did. And on all the pages that I did take out that had some nice images on one side, I tried to use that to collage back into the book, and I did that by just putting color pages that had similar colors side by side. I didn't look to make it matchy because you can't. I was just looking to get colorful 2-page spreads throughout the entire book, and I do succeed in doing that eventually. There's a lot of flipping of pages, going back and forth, cutting out pages, and then gluing things back to get just colorful pages. That's what I'm showing you here. I don't like the page on the left. I want to cover that with a more colorful page that I had torn out in another section of the book, and I am gluing it there. You can see the images don't really match, but the colors are really close, and I'm happy with that, because there's going to be stuff on top of this afterwards. There's going to be paint, there's going to be collage. It is a very mixed media type of reverse collage type of book, so it doesn't really matter what the base is, except in this case I'm trying just to cover each page with a lot of color quickly. Now, here was a page that I just couldn't, I was really having a hard time deciding. I didn't like the black there. Now, I was trying to figure out if I should just cover this page or should I tear it out. And that's why it takes me a long time to do one of these books, because I think a lot about what I could do, what my options are, what I would prefer, what I don't like, what can I match. I'm looking for the would it be interesting if I tore this page and left the other one or not? So there's a lot of hemming and hawing when I do this. I'm sorry, I can't explain it to make it easier for you, because so the decision making hasn't been, the decision has not been made at this point, obviously. Now I'm just going through all the extra pages I have left, and I'm seeing what images do I have. Would there be something interesting to cover that black? And I'm looking for the colors. Remember, I'm just trying to look for similar colors to do some matching. And that's what I'm flipping through right now. I see the left side has a lot of reds and browns, and I'm looking for something similar to put on that side. And there we go. I found something here. I'm seeing, would this work? Could I make this work somehow? Colors go well together. It could almost look like they belong together, and this is the other page, the other side of the other page. There's a lot of hemming and hawing in my process here. And I'm looking at the smaller images, thinking, well, maybe I could collage smaller pieces to cover the page. I might just go back to it eventually. At one point, I have to make a decision, and sometimes it feels a bit like Sophie's Choice, which is kind of silly because it's just paper. But yeah, that's how I go through how I take apart and then reconstruct the book to get all the colorful backgrounds that I end up with. At this point, I realized that because there is a lot of white on that page, that maybe what I can do is cut that out and cover that with another page. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'm looking and I'm trying to match the colors, and it's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle, but I think it's a lot of fun to do that too. So there we go. Their decision's been made. I'm tearing out that part. So there's an uninteresting white bit on one side, an interesting black bit on the other. I'm taking a page from somewhere else in the book that had to come out, and I'm going to glue that to the flap that's remaining. And that's how I made this page. So I end up having two very interesting double page spreads with very colorful bases that will serve as my background for whatever it is I decide to do. So this is what I do throughout the book. I generously apply glue stick, and that's all I'm using. I'm using glue stick. Sometimes I'm using a little bit of Aleene's tacky glue around the edges or at the spine. I prefer to use a dry adhesive so there's no buckling. And I just make sure to burnish the paper very well. Here we go. So since the glue dried up on me, I'm just adding more glue. And now I'm just going to press down and burnish it to make sure that it adheres well. And there's my Aleene's Tacky Glue in a needle nose bottle to glue down those little raggedy edges into the crack there, to make it as seamless as possible and to make sure that it doesn't, that part of the page doesn't lift up. And yeah, that's my tip for you, to burnish it really well, to use a dry adhesive for the larger pieces that are glued down. Use a wet adhesive for stubborn areas, and burnish, burnish, burnish. That helps a lot. Next, I take some paint pens, and this can be done with paint pens or acrylic paint and a brush. And I'm just painting areas where there's like tears or a page is sticking out from the other side, and I just want to hide the white part. And I just check through the whole book and make these what I call repairs before I start with the more reverse collage painting aspect of it. As this book has a lot of photographs that have a lot of blue and green, I'm basically just using a green and blue paint pen that I have. It's darker than the photographs, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to hide the white. And I find that using a water brush also helps to spread the paint a little bit. Now I'm showing you that with a pencil, I like to roughly sketch out where I'm going to paint areas and connect pages together by painting those areas. So I take a pencil and I will draw from like one page to the other side where there's like blank, there's white. I'll draw with a pencil over the white area to connect two sections of two different pages. I'm also using a baby wipe to help pick up extra glue that's oozing out when I'm repairing a page. And also the baby wipe is nice for spreading the acrylic paint down into that spine area. In addition to using baby wipes to help keep the book clean when I'm gluing it, there are moments where I will come across a page where the glue, I let the glue dry and I forgot to clean it all the way. So to remove that glue, that sticky residue, I find that using a glue or residue eraser, those square kind of yellowish erasers, they're like a piece of rubber, they're really great at rubbing off any sticky residue on the book there. I just showed that. At this point, I'm still using just paint pen and a water brush or a baby wipe to cover any white raggedy edges that came from tearing pages. I'm just trying to make a seamless connection from pieces that I've glued onto the pages. And these pages are very glossy, so this is working at this point for small areas, but I found that because of the glossy pages, there were areas where a little bit of gesso was helpful, to use less paint, to use a layer gesso first and then start with the paint. Just made the painting easier. Also, there were areas that I chose to use clear gesso because I did not want to cover everything. I still wanted some of the picture to show through. So whatever floats your boat. You don't have to use gesso. I'm using it in some areas of the book, and in other areas of the book, I am not using any gesso. It just really depended on my mood. But I do find that with really glossy pages, gesso does help. It does help your paint go further. And now, one of the most fun parts is covering up all those pesky white areas. I'm using simple acrylic craft paints in shades of blues and greens that I have currently in my stash. I'm just adding paint, blending the colors, and I'm just trying to blend in with the photograph that's already there in the book. The craft paint is fun to use, by the way. Later on, when I'll be adding layers, the one thing about craft paint is that it's easier to write on with a pen. So that's just a tip for you. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click on the bell if you want to be notified of my new content. Thank you so very much for watching, and until next time, stay crafty.